Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Friday Little Live. I brought Eileen today in to talk about the 90-degree strip, double strip ruler. Wow. So yeah, I'm excited. This is a ruler that I've only seen through my catalogs and never seen it in action, which, as you guys all know, I love watching these while I record because I learn. So I know people have come in and asked questions, and I actually have the answers, which really surprises me and pretty much everybody else. So it's been great. Let's see what's new. Check out our new Zoom class lineup for next week. I just filled some orders, so we have some fun classes coming up. I'm still every week making up new ones for the following week. So we're having guide classes, little hands-on classes, and let's see, a little lecture demo. So we're trying to get all of us just still doing something and keeping you engaged. The other thing is, don't forget, tomorrow morning I have my live 9 o'clock and 11. So that is always our big sale. We are trying not to always pick the first person. We are picking different names and different numbers of names. So we're always saying, let's go with number 9 and 10 so that we have different winners, because I know everyone's internet speed runs differently. Even as I'm doing this, I'm talking and my phone is different speed because my mouth is moving after I've already talked. So it happens. It happens even on my own device. So yeah, that's going on. The other thing, we have 2 small Zoom Kimberbell events. The first one is next week. It is Star Spangled Celebration. We still have room on that. And then I also have at the end of July, gonna mess up the dates. We have a Spark event, which is only a 4-hour event, which is Sugar Plum Jubilee, which is a new one. So it's 4 hours instead of the 1 day, which is 6 hours, or the 2 day that is the 12-hour event. So those are out. They are on the class calendar. So if you're interested in that, you can sign up. I think that's it. I hope everybody is enjoying this beautiful weather. That's why we're doing it at 9:30. So before you all go outside and garden or enjoy the sun, we have us on. Eileen told me today that we need to make sure we have vitamin D. It's important for this COVID, so maybe get outside and get some vitamin D. I asked her, do fluorescent lights have vitamin D? Because that's all I'm ever under. I was just joking. I know they don't. So I'm going to take the camera off of me and I'm going to flip it over to Eileen so we can start learning about the ruler.
Good morning, everybody. It's always so good to see you. It would be so nice if you were all sitting here in front of us, because there's just some camaraderie that I'm missing. I actually hugged Lynn Ricketson this morning. I said, oh, this feels so good. I haven't hugged only my husband for many, many months. So she's one of the first people I hugged. So a virtual hug to all of you. I am going to show you yet another ruler. And I know there are a few of you that are going to say things like, oh, you're killing me because you're buying so many rulers. However, it's really fun to see what they can do. This is the ruler that I'm going to talk about. I've got it down here on a whiteboard so that you can see all the black lines. You may have seen this ruler if you took Diane's class that I think was called Hot Cross Buns. It was hanging here in the East Aurora store for quite a long time, and also for a while in the Williamsville store. This is the ruler that you use to make that quilt. I would also tell you while we're looking at the ruler that the lines on it are very helpful. We have these guidelines so that when we do some cutting, we can line this up with our fabric. All right. You also have along the side of it here, if I turn it this way, you will notice that I could put that on the edge of some fabric if this was fabric, and I could cut a 2.5-inch strip.
Oh.
I find it's helpful every once in a while when I am not using my AccuQuilt cutter, if I just need one strip, I will use this ruler because it's a large ruler and you can grab a hold here. I can lay it down on the edge of my fabric and cut it. Okay, so that's the ruler we're going to be talking about. I'm going to show you a few tricks and tips about how to use it. I also, while we have the camera on my whiteboard, I want to show you that this is the size cutter that I'm going to use today, and I want you to know that we do have the large pack in the East Aurora store for the 45 millimeter cutter, and I think there are, what, 10 in
10 of
here,
there.
and it's $32, which seems like a lot, but if you're buying them one at a time, it adds up after a while, so it's really nice to have 10 of them, and I change mine pretty frequently. The other thing I want to mention is that because some of what we're cutting is going to end up with working on the bias, I often will spray mine with Best Press because it keeps it from stretching so much. And of course, we have these wonderful bottles that I put my Best Press in, and this will mist your fabric rather than clunk the Best Press down on top of the fabric. So those are the different products besides the ruler. I do want to tell you when I first am starting that I am going to talk about the 90-degree quarter square triangle. And I'll show you where that fits in, okay? So, I'm going to start. I sewed 2 strips together. Here are my 2 strips. If I use the 90-degree quarter square triangle, I can put this on here just fine. It works. These lines will line up with this fabric here. There's a white line there. See the white line? Mm-hmm. When I slide this down, that all lines up just fine. Now, I can cut it. In order to cut the next one, I have to flip the triangle. And then I have to flip the triangle. And then I have to. That gets very tiring. It works if you have this, but ta-da! If you have this ruler,
I get it.
I can take and I can put my triangles on my strips that I've sewn together, and then I can line. Here's this black line. You see the black line here? That is going to line right up with that strip, and the top is touching the top of my fabric. The bottom touches the bottom of the fabric on this side. Isn't that cool? And so then I cut, and I go like so, and then look at this. When I cut here, it's going to go down into that hole. And then I can turn my cutter and go up the other side. And then I turn my cutter and I go down the other side. Now, what I want you to see is that there's just a 1/4 of an inch here in between. So when I pull this out, that's about a 1/4 of an inch. So I'm going to pull these triangles out, pull my fabric over here, and I'm just going to slide my ruler down and make sure that I've got about a 1/4 of an inch right here. And then I can keep on cutting. So here we go, and we cut, and down into the little hole there, put my cutter in, I go up, and I go down, and I've got all these wonderful triangles, and I still can get one more. All I need to do is slide my ruler down. So there's about a 1/4 of an inch there. Line things up, and I'm going to cut that last triangle. Now, what happens when you get all that cutting done is I've got triangles that are different arrangements of color. like so. Isn't that cool? See, I've got a couple more over here. Now I can take these and I can take, and this is just doing it with 2 strips. I can put these together like so that I end up with a block that looks like this. Now I have the white ones, and I also can put those together if I choose, and I get a whole different look to my square. But the place that you begin to have some fun is that then I could do this. I could swap these up. I could put this like here. I could put that like there and have a whole different look. And then you begin to mirror your triangle. That's why I didn't sew them all together, because I wanted to show you that you can mix and match what you create by cutting just 2 strips. And they're 2.5 inch strips that I sewed together. But that's not all.
There's more?
There's more. Let me just move these over. Okay, one of the other things, here's another nice one that I made with that. One of the other things that you can do is you can take, here's an end piece from what I cut. I took a 2.5 inch strip, and these are both 1.5 inch strips. I sewed them together, and then I cut my triangles. And I got these. Now, this sort of upgrades your look a little bit, and it gets a little fancier, because you've got some 1.5 inch strips in there. And then I can take and I can put this one on this side. Look at the different look you get. Now I've got the little diagonal lines in the middle. So I've got those 2 squares. But if I want to change these up, I could put those there. I could put this one here. Which makes my inner square take on a whole different look. And again, you're kind of mirroring what you're doing. So that is with a 2.5 inch strip and 2 1.5 inch strips. Okay, well that's not all.
Wait, there's more? Someone commented and said it's like an infomercial. But wait, there's more.
Wait, there's more. Okay, let's see, what do I want to do first? This is so fun. All right, I can take 2 strips. Here's a white one and a dark blue one. I can sew those 2 strips together, and then I can sew 2 more strips together, like so, and I can sew them all together so that I have a tube. That's a tube.
Hold on. There we go.
Okay, so this is like sewing a tube. They're all right sides together. And I like to make sure that this seam here is about on top, about as much as possible on top of this one here. And sometimes I actually pin it before I sew it, so it's good and straight. So here I am. All right, let's take it. I'm going to put the darker color on the bottom. I'm going to take my ruler. Now I'm going to put my ruler on here. And I put it on here this time so maybe you can see how this lines up on the top. And then this darker strip right here lines up with the stitching. Hopefully you can see that. And then I'm going to cut it. So here's one. Here's another one. And it makes you think we're cutting triangles. So I've got 1, 2, 3. I'll move those up here, pull our strip over. Move it over, so I've got about that 1/4 of an inch there. I could measure it, but I'm guessing, I think it's about right. So let's come down here. I'm cutting. Again, I'm going into this little hole that they have in the ruler, which just says, hey, rotary cutter, come on in here and say hello for a few minutes. Here are all of my... Now, I'm going to do one more. Just going to slide this over because I want to get as much out of my strips as I can. I'm going to line that up and make one last cut. Now, this is just so exciting. See,
I know,
this is
I'm
a great
waiting.
reveal. Now, before I reveal that, okay, I'm going to say we've got 1, 2, that's 3, here's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So do you see out of one strip set, you get enough for 2 blocks? Wow. Okay? Now, when you look at this on the tip top, there are some stitching there, and I'm going to take that stitching and just very gently pull it out. And when I open it, I have a square. Isn't that cool? So all of the squares on this side are going to look like so. I'm going to just pull that out gently. Hope you don't mind my colors. I try to pick colors that'll show up okay on the camera. And on this side, we're going to get a different look. This time, the darker blue is in the corner. Now, these will not be pressed so that they are going to be a little lumpy. I'm sorry about that. But now I can take these, and I gotta tell you, I made a t-shirt quilt not too long ago, and I made some of these and put them into the t-shirt quilt, and it added a really nice variety to the t-shirt quilt. So there's one way of doing that. Okay, so I'll show you the other one, see what it looks like. I kind of like it with the dark in the middle here. Now, here's another one. Let's do it this way. Now I've got those 2 really nice blocks. However, I could do this if I wanted to, and that makes it look interesting. Or I could go back and I could put a solid color in the middle. And this time the blue's on the outside. And over here, we could do this. I could leave it that way, or I could continue to change it like so. Now, I'm going to show you something else about these blocks. You could have fun playing with them this way. Now, if I take them and I just turn, let's see, what do I want to do here? Turn it this way, there's another look. You've got this, and you've got this, okay? Now, what if? This is where I'm playing. Let's go around this way. And if we turn this one this way, then you've got colors going in a different direction. One of the interesting things about it is you could also, if you wanted to, make a zigzag around the edge of your quilt. The creativity here is, you know me, I'm like about the creativity. Okay, so now let's see. If I do this, let's see, and if I do,
You made an X.
no, wait a minute. Is this my X? There, I've got an X with this fabric and this other. Do you see, ladies? Oh my gosh, I think this is so fun. So that just shows you the ramifications of what you can do. So you could make a zigzag, you can make different blocks with it, like so. And I could mix all these colors up and make different blocks just that would look really interesting.
I mean, you just made about 8 different blocks, all with one
Yes.
strip of your fabrics, just turning them and cutting them with that ruler. That is awesome.
Yeah.
Oh wait, there's more.
There's more. Okay, this time,
Oh my gosh. I'm excited.
this is cut off the end of what I did. So basically, you realize when we cut, you know, we're cutting the triangle. So basically, what I did was I sewed together 2 strips. Those strips measure about 4.5 inches. So I took a 4.5 inch solid strip and I added to it and I made a tube. All right, so in other words, I sewed this together like so. So pretend that's still whole, okay? So I have the white strip and the blue strip on top, and I sewed a tube. The orange was on the bottom, and I cut it. Now here's one that I got from. And you can play with these, because here with this particular block that I chose, I can do something like this in a quilt all around that block. If I have enough of them, I don't know if I made enough of them. And it gives you another whole look to your big block. Now that gives you some depth. And that's doing it so that you've got a solid color with 2.5 inch strips. And again, you can mix and match these. They will still look, I can take these, I can put these this way. I have a whole different look. Okay? There are some patterns. There are 3 patterns that I found on Cut Loose, those Cut Loose patterns. One of them is the Hot Cross Stars that Diane made. The other one is called Double Strip. And the third one is called Tropical Blues. So if you wanted to order those from the store, you could do that. Now there's still another thing you can do. Oh, see, I just think this is so cool. Guess what else? This time I sewed 4 1.5 inch strips together to a section of 2.5 inch strips. So then you get a look that's more like this. And these are all cut with a 90-degree double strip ruler. And then here's this one. One of the things that's really nice about doing it this way is that your strips are nice and straight. They're not wonky. As long as you sew them together, honoring a 1/4 inch seam. Now, can I turn these? Of course I could. I can do this, and look, we've got the same kind of thing. All right, so now if I turn this, let's see, I gotta go in the right direction. There you go. There you've got your X. Which, if you put a bunch of these together, you would get those X's in your quilt. What else can we do? We can put the blue in the middle. And now your 1.5 inch strips are on the outside. And we could do the same thing here. I could go like this. Here's my angles. And then I can also, I could go like so, get my X's, and it's just fun. Now, I could, if I wanted to, I don't know if it would make it look too busy, but you could do something like that if you wanted to. Why not? Mm-hmm. And the more strips you made, the more you could, like I could have one from this section and one from another one I sewed together, one depending on how you mix and match your fabrics. One of the things you want to make sure that you do is keep your creative grids paper. I'm very big on saying, put these, laminate them. I had a lady the other day in my cat's cradle class who was laminating hers. And that way she never loses them and she keeps them all where they need to be. It gives you the directions, but some of these ideas I picked up watching some YouTube videos, people that have experimented. If you want a different look from this fabric, I did do it with something like this, where you've got some more earth tones. That's a different look. It's not quite so busy looking. And then I've got one here where the black is in the middle. And again, if you want to change them up so you get your X, then you want to come around, what am I doing here? Okay, that one. There's an X. Yep. And again, if you put them next to each other, you would be able to get, what do I want to do here? Yeah, there you would be able to get your zigzag across around the edge of the quilt. So, this is not complicated. This is what they call, it's hard to remember the name of it, the 90-degree double strip ruler. And it works with double strips. It works with about, I think it's 4.5 inches. When you sew 2 strips together, you get 4.5 inches, and then anything you want to put on the back side of your tube has to measure exactly the same. So it's a 4.5 inch solid strip or 1.5 inch strips sewn together in any combination, and play with the arrangement of your colors so that you end up with the possibility of making a variety of squares. And that's what I have for you today. Yes, it's an infomercial. It's a lot better than that big triangle where you have to flip it as you go down. If you use this, you can just save a lot of time. And you get enough for 2 squares out of one 42-inch strip set. So, I guess that's all I've got to say, except have a wonderful, wonderful day.
Thanks, Eileen, for coming in. If you guys want, call the East Aurora store. I have not informed the Williamsville store of what we're doing today. I forgot to let them know that we're talking about the 90-degree double strip ruler. So if you want, just give us a call and we'll place your order if you're interested. The price, I want to say $35, but I'm pulling a number out of my hat. It's about that. And I meant to look before we got started, and I was doing about 10 things before I grabbed the camera and put it on Eileen.
And it's not cheaper on Amazon.
Oh, and it's not cheaper than on Amazon. So whatever the price is, just call us and I'll give you the definite price. I'm just not I wasn't 100% prepared. So thank you, everybody. Whoever signs on tomorrow morning, I will see you at 9 and 11 for my live sale. I have everybody and myself working very hard collecting some fun fabrics. There might be some Halloween, there might be some Christmas, there might be some batiks, and there might be some regular just fun fabric that we've bundled up. I know I've had a lot of Sheila has helped me out a lot with this, of doing cute little bundles with patterns and rulers and all kinds of things, fabric and patterns. So pay attention tomorrow if you're interested in some small discounted items, maybe some large discounted items. I will see you all tomorrow morning at 9 and 11 for my live. Have a great afternoon, everybody. I miss all of you. See you real soon.